Okay, so we've already done the three colors so far for Commander Jet. Now I'm masking this off so I can do the yellow. Um, the character encyclopedia has some great reference shots. I've used black electrical tape because that helps with the curvature of the parts and get a little bit better bend and nice clean lines. And I've mirrored it for the next forearms, so when they come together they look the same. And I've also done the same thing for the shins. Um, putting black electrical tape around little shins here. And then I'll be using just basic painter's tape to cover off the rest of the area. To do the lines, I found using a pencil eraser was pretty easy because this primer stuff just erases. You can see little marks really easily rather than doing actual pencil in the area that you're going to be painting the yellow. So I'm going to be doing the yellow next and then masking it off. Okay, so I sprayed the fourth color, which is the Krylon. They call this Sunbeam. Again, I've just sprayed a light coat so that the underneath color shows through. So I don't have to do as much sanding of trying to get the undercolors to come through. Just pretty much sprayed the yellow where it was lighter and letting the reddish brown, the Rudy brown primer kind of show through. Same thing for the forearm pieces. Of course, I masked off where the compound was going to be in the other areas and just letting some of that undertone show through. So just putting on kind of a thin coat on both the forearms and also for the shins. In this triangular shape here, I went back over and sprayed a little bit of that flat flesh, what was that again, the flat flesh color, and some of the Rudy brown there just to give that little pink color onto the triangle section. But the rest of it is the Sunbeam yellow and letting the undertones kind of show through here. And so this is how it's looking so far with the fourth color applied to these parts, and I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, so I've got the helmet masked off so that I can paint the yellow on the sides of the ears. I've left the center open so I can paint it a darker kind of a brownish black color, but I'll be doing that later. Just basically painted up, taped up most of the area so I don't get overspray. So I'm going to be using the Krylon Sunbeam yellow and just lightly misting it on to this area here, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I sprayed about 1.5 coats of the yellow on the helmet here on the sides, so you can see some of the red base underneath still shows through. In the center here I sprayed a little bit of the satin brown boots just to kind of darken that up there just a little bit. I'm using that color as a kind of like a final weathering technique to kind of blend some of these colors together and to tone down some of the brightness. But that's how it's looking so far with the fourth color of the yellow. Okay, for the top of the dome I've masked it off, and I've actually sprayed a little bit of the Rudy brown primer so it'll match the boxes and detonator when I add on the next color. So this back shape it gets blended in and underneath as well, but the front one is masked off because Commander Jet's is yellow. So the next color I'm going to be spraying is the maroon, the TS11. Just putting on a light coat, and I'll show you what that looks like after I'm done. Okay, so I sprayed on a thin coat of the maroon, the TS11. I'll show you next to drop box here, kind of a little difference in color. I'm sorry, the belt box. So the belt box is just basically showing the Rudy brown misted on, and with this dome now having the maroon color, it gives it a lot more purplish tone. So I'm going to spray this on the boxes and detonator. Then I will be putting a light coat of another color just to kind of tone down this the burgundy purplish color, which I guess the can's calling maroon. Okay, for comparisons here, this one has not been sprayed with the maroon yet, and this one has here. Hold them up together here and kind of see the difference. When I sprayed the maroon one on the right, I tried not to spray the recessed grooves there, trying to leave the ruddy brown showing so it stays kind of lighter there. So I'll be spraying the next one to finish up the boxes here, and after that moving on to the next step. Okay, so I've masked off the belt area all the way around, leaving the two front boxes covered. This area is going to get the maroon, same thing like we've done for the dome and for the belt boxes and detonator. So I'm going to spray this on lightly and have it match the other pieces, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I finished spraying the maroon along the belt and the dome of the helmet, the belt boxes, the detonator. I'm also going to be using this for the stripes on the forearms and the shins, but I want to tone it down a little bit so it isn't quite so maroon purplish looking. So I'm going to be using the let's see, number TS69 linoleum deck brown, just to kind of kill some of that maroon purplish color, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done.